Hey, have you ever wanted to grow your own fresh herbs but thought it was too complicated? Maybe you think you don't have enough space, time, or even the skill to keep plants alive? Well, guess what? You totally can. And I'm going to show you exactly how to start your very own herb garden this spring. Easy, fun, and beginner-friendly. By the end of this video, you'll be growing fresh, flavorful herbs right at home. So stick around because we're diving straight in. Alright, first things first, what herbs should you grow? If this is your first time, you'll want to go with easy, low-maintenance herbs that practically grow themselves. Here are some foolproof options. Basil. Fast-growing, great for pasta, salads, and pesto. Loves warm weather. Mint's super hardy, perfect for teas, cocktails, and desserts. Just be careful, it spreads like crazy. Rosemary woody, fragrant, and amazing for roasted dishes. A little slow-growing but worth it. Parsley, a staple herb that adds freshness to so many dishes. Bonus, it's packed with vitamins. Thyme, tiny leaves, big flavor. Great for soups, meats, and even baked goods. Chives, mild onion flavor, grows fast and is perfect for topping anything from eggs to potatoes. The key here is to choose herbs you'll actually use. There's no point growing something like dill if you don't love the taste. Think about your favorite recipes. What herbs do you find yourself reaching for the most? Start with those. Now, you've got another decision to make. Seeds or starter plants? If you're looking for the easiest, fastest way to start, go with starter plants. These are small, pre-grown herb plants you can buy at a nursery, garden center, or even some grocery stores. You just transplant them into your garden or pots and boom, you've got a head start. But if you like a little challenge and want to save some money, seeds are a great option. They take longer, but there's something super rewarding about watching tiny green shoots pop up from the soil. Plus, a packet of seeds can give you way more plants than a single starter plant. One more important thing, sunlight matters. Some herbs love full sun while others are fine in partial shade. If you're planting outdoors, check how much sunlight your space gets. If you're growing indoors, make sure your herbs will be near a bright window. Full sun lovers, at least 6 hours of sun. Basil, rosemary, thyme, chives. Partial shade tolerant, can handle 3 to 4 hours of sun. Mint, parsley, cilantro. Got your herbs picked out? Awesome. Now let's talk about where to plant them. Alright. Now that you've picked out your herbs, it's time to figure out where to plant them. The great news? You don't need a giant backyard or a fancy greenhouse. You can grow herbs literally anywhere. On a windowsill, a balcony, a patio, or even your kitchen counter. The key is making sure your herbs have the right environment to thrive. Let's break it down. If you have outdoor space and want to plant your herbs in the ground, that's amazing. Garden beds give your herbs plenty of room to grow, and they benefit from natural rain and sunlight. Here's what to keep in mind. Choose a sunny spot. Most herbs need at least 6 hours of direct sunlight per day. Pick a location that gets plenty of light. Good drainage is key. Herbs hate sitting in water. Make sure your garden bed has loose, well-draining soil so excess moisture doesn't drown the roots. Group herbs by water needs. Some herbs, like basil and parsley, need more water, while rosemary and thyme prefer drier conditions. Keep similar herbs together to make watering easier. If you have limited space but still want to grow outside, you can also use raised garden beds. These are great because you have full control over the soil and drainage, and they make gardening easier on your back, no bending down too much. No backyard? No problem. Herbs grow beautifully in pots and containers, and they're actually easier to manage than garden beds. You can move them around to catch the best sunlight, and even bring them inside if the weather gets too cold. Here's what you need to know. Pick the right pot size. A small pot is fine for one herb, but if you want to grow multiple, go for a larger container, at least 6 to 8 inches deep. Drainage is a must. Your pot should have holes at the bottom to let water escape. Herbs don't like wet feet. Use quality soil. Regular garden soil is too heavy for containers. Use a light, well-draining potting mix that keeps roots healthy. You can also get creative with containers. Herbs grow well in hanging baskets, mason jars with proper drainage, wooden boxes, or even repurposed kitchen items like colanders. Option 3, indoor herb garden. If you don't have outdoor space, you can grow herbs inside too. A sunny kitchen windowsill is perfect because you'll have fresh herbs right where you cook. Indoor growing tips. Find the sunniest spot. A south-facing window is best, but any bright spot with at least 6 hours of light will work. Use grow lights if needed. If natural light is limited, LED grow lights can keep your herbs happy. Avoid drafts and heat sources. Keep herbs away from AC vents, heaters, and cold windows in winter. No matter where you plant your herbs, just make sure they get enough sunlight, have good soil, and proper drainage. Now that we've got the location sorted, it's time to start planting. Now that you've picked the perfect spot for your herbs, it's time to get them in the soil and keep them thriving. Don't worry, this is the easy part. Whether you're planting in a garden bed, a pot, or even a kitchen windowsill, I'll walk you through exactly what to do. Step 1. Preparing the soil. Before you start planting, you need good soil. Herbs grow best in light, well-draining soil that isn't too compact. If you're planting in a garden bed, loosen the soil and mix in some compost or organic matter to boost nutrients. If you're using pots, buy a high-quality potting mix. Regular garden soil is too heavy and can suffocate the roots. For extra drainage, mix a little perlite or sand into your soil. This helps prevent soggy roots, which is one of the biggest reasons herbs die early. Step 2. Planting your herbs. Now comes the fun part, getting those herbs into the soil. Depending on whether you're using seeds or starter plants, the process is slightly different. Planting seeds. Read the packet. Every herb has slightly different needs. Some seeds need to be buried, while others, like basil, should just be pressed lightly into the soil. Moisten the soil first before planting so it's damp but not soggy. Sprinkle the seeds evenly, and cover lightly with soil if needed. Keep the soil moist while the seeds germinate. A light misting with water works best. Be patient. Some herbs sprout within a week like basil and chives, while others take longer. Rosemary can take 2 to 3 weeks. Planting starter plants. If you bought small herb plants from a store, here's how to transplant them properly. Gently remove the plant from its container. If the roots are tightly packed, loosen them a little with your fingers. Dig a small hole in the soil, just deep enough for the root ball to sit comfortably. Place the plant in and cover with soil, pressing gently around the base. Water immediately to help the roots settle. Pro tip: don't plant too close together. Herbs need space to grow. If you're using a big pot for multiple herbs, leave at least 6 inches between each plant. Step 3. Watering and sunlight. Now that your herbs are planted, let's talk about keeping them alive. Watering herbs hate overwatering. A simple rule: stick your finger into the soil about an inch deep. If it feels dry, it's time to water. Morning watering is best so the soil isn't too wet at night. For pots, water until you see it draining out the bottom, but don't let them sit in water. Most herbs need at least 6 hours of sunlight daily. If growing indoors, place them by a bright window or use LED grow lights if needed. Step 4. Watch out for pests and diseases. Even indoor herbs can get pests like aphids and spider mites. If you see tiny bugs, spray with a mix of water and mild dish soap to get rid of them naturally. That's it! You've successfully planted your herbs and now you're on your way to a thriving garden. Next up, how to harvest and use them. Now that your herbs are growing strong, it's time for the best part: harvesting and using them. There's nothing more satisfying than snipping fresh basil for a homemade pizza or adding your own homegrown rosemary to roasted potatoes. But before you start cutting, there are a few things you need to know to keep your herbs healthy and growing all season long. Step 1. When to harvest your herbs. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is waiting too long to harvest. The truth is, the more you trim your herbs, the healthier they become. Regular harvesting encourages your plants to grow bushier and prevents them from getting too tall and leggy. Here's a quick guide on when you can start harvesting different herbs. Basil and cilantro about 4 to 6 weeks after planting or when they have at least 6 to 8 leaves. Mint and parsley. Once the plant is 4 to 6 inches tall and has plenty of leaves. Rosemary and thyme. These grow slowly but can be harvested once they reach 6 inches in height. Chives. As soon as the leaves are 6 inches long, start snipping. The key is to never take more than 1/3 of the plant at a time. This ensures that your herbs keep growing and don't get stressed. Step 2. How to harvest herbs the right way. Using the right harvesting technique can make a huge difference in how your plants grow back. For leafy herbs like basil, mint, cilantro, and parsley, always cut above a set of leaves, not at the base of the plant. Use sharp scissors or pinch the stem with your fingers. Cutting from the top rather than the bottom helps the plant grow back fuller. For woody herbs such as rosemary, thyme, and oregano, use scissors to snip just above a leaf node where the leaves branch off. Avoid cutting into the woody base as new growth happens from the green parts. Step 3. Storing your fresh herbs. Freshly picked herbs taste the best, but sometimes you might harvest more than you can use. Here's how to store them properly. For short-term storage, keep leafy herbs like basil, cilantro, and parsley fresh by placing the stems in a glass of water, just like a bouquet. For woody herbs such as rosemary, thyme, and oregano, wrap them loosely in a damp paper towel and store them in the fridge. For long-term storage, drying is an excellent option. Tie the stems together and hang them upside down in a dry place. Once fully dry, store them in airtight containers. Another great method is freezing. Chop the herbs and freeze them in an ice cube tray with olive oil. This is perfect for tossing into soups and stir-fries later. Step 4. Enjoying your homegrown herbs. Now comes the fun part, using your herbs in everyday cooking. Basil is perfect for pesto, pizza, and fresh salads. Mint is amazing in iced tea, mojitos, and desserts. Rosemary and thyme are great for seasoning roasted veggies, meats, and soups. And chives? They're perfect for sprinkling on eggs, baked potatoes, and dips. By now, you've officially mastered growing, harvesting, and using fresh herbs. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your favorite herbs in the comments. See you in the next video, and happy gardening.